Hello and welcome to the Black Friday sales at Brutus Monroe. My name is Sweta from Table in the Attic. Today I'm creating these two beautiful projects using some of the freebies that are available with your purchases at Brutus Monroe. The card on the right, the poinsettias, use the rub-ons from 49 in Market, and then the card on the left with the gnomes uses the stencils from Tonic Studios. So let's take a closer look at both these projects, and these are part of the Black Friday sales happening at Brutus Monroe. So here's a quick look at what is on offer. So with every purchase you'll get a free mystery die. Then for every $25 purchase you'll get the shimmer splash, and then you'll get, with $50 purchase you'll get the scratch off for extra Brutus box. With $75 purchase you will get the Tonic holiday paper pad. With every $100 purchase you will get the holiday rub-on transfers, which I'm going to use for the second card. And then with a $150 purchase you'll get this Tonic holiday stencil set, which we'll be using for this project. And like that you can stack your offers. So if you make a total of $150 purchase, you will get each and every tier free gift. Okay, so let's dive right into our project. I'm going to use this little tiny acorn right here from this stencil to create my own pattern paper. And what you see underneath is the stick and stamp mat. It's a great little mat that has a sticky surface to hold your cardstock on so that it doesn't move. And of course it also helps to keep your stencils in spot. I always leave one in one of my stamping platforms, just so that it's easier. The paper doesn't move, the cardstock doesn't go anywhere, the stencils stay in place, and I don't need anything else to secure them. Here I'm just gonna go around creating my own pattern from the acorns. I'm using some distress inks to make my design. You can always use a little bit of post-it note to keep going over the other parts of the stencil. You can cover it up, and that way you'll have a clean design without any overspill. I'm gonna go ahead and finish all the little acorns and then add in the little tops, which is on the second stencil. Some good things to consider for your Black Friday purchases could be the stick and stamp mat, the matte cleaner spray, the stamp cleaner spray, which comes in different scents, and I tell you, it's just so good. And maybe pick up some of the new cardstock that came out a couple of months ago. And talking about cardstock, the glitter stock is something to check out, definitely. I got myself one of each, and it's just lovely, the glitter stock. Once all the acorns are done, I'm going to select this little leaf. It actually goes along with the acorn, but I decided to just use it separately to create this background for the card. So it doesn't matter, you can look at stencils differently and see what works for you. I wanted to have that little green pop out separately from the acorns. I'm just going to speed up the process a little bit over here. And then once all the leaves are done, I'm going to put down an extra sheet of paper because I'm going to splatter over this background. I'm using the pomegranate shimmer mist for this, and I'm going to use my pigment mat, a palette that comes with, or you can purchase it separately with the stick and stamp mat. While this dries, we will work on the gnomes next. I'm going to use 3 of the gnomes from the Holiday Hugs stamp set. Next, using the Raven Black detail ink, I'll ink up these stamps and get my stamps ready to color. Once the stamping is done, I'm going to quickly heat up the images so that the ink kind of sets in. I want to use Copic markers with this ink, so it's best to heat up and set the images. Next, I have some Copic colors here that I'm going to use to color up these little gnomes. I'm using W1 warm gray, E21 soft sun, E23 hazelnut, YG67 moss green, G85, R37 and R59. I'm going to speed up the process here a little bit. I've kept the coloring pretty simple, using just 2 shades of each color. And while I color this, I'm gonna add in some music in the background so you can just enjoy the coloring process. Once we are done with all the coloring, I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut these gnomes. Once all the gnomes are cut out, I'm going to also add another panel behind my pattern paper that I created. I'm gonna pick one of these beautiful papers called Christmas Confections. I'm going to go ahead and trim this to size, as well as also get a piece of vellum to go behind my gnomes so that they kind of stand out from my background. Next, I'm going to go ahead and stamp out my sentiment again from that same stamp set. And finally, I'm going to glue down all my layers, my sentiment, and then finally the gnomes. I'm going to add in some foam tape for dimension, and that will finish off the card, but there's more. Next, I want to add some highlights with a white gel pen, so I'm going to do that, add in some highlights. It just makes the images pop, I feel like. Here we go. Here's a completed card. Let's jump right into the next project. For this one, I'm using 49 and Market, the rub-on stickers. These are fabulous if you're looking to make a single layer card without too much dimension. Again, this one is free with your purchase of $100. So let's get going. So in this packet, you have 3 sheets of different styles of rub-ons. There are these red and green flowers and bird's nest. This one has more of the star anise, some pine greens, and then this one has the poinsettias. I'm going to be mainly using the poinsettias and some of those pine branches. I have here the aqua pigment watercolor paper. I love this paper. It's so thin, yet it holds the watercolors so beautifully. You have to really try this one out to see how good this is. I have my splatter box here, and I'm gonna spray some of the mists here. I'm using a mix of kind of pinks and reds, a little bit of that blue there, and a little hint of orange to make my background. Don't be alarmed by this one. The red on here is strong, but once you add a mist or a spray of water, that's gonna change everything. So here you can see I'm gonna mist up my background panel so that we can get some of that color going and moving around. You can even use paintbrush. You'll see me do that here. It just helps to spread it out a bit more, and that was what I was looking to do. Kind of have it towards the corners if you will, on the opposite sides. Don't be afraid to play with um, the colors here. You know, the background just comes together very quickly with the mists. I'm going to use my heat gun to speed up the drying process a little bit. And if any more water is left, you can always dab dry it with a paper towel. Moving along, let's get our rub-on transfers ready. I'm gonna just trim out the ones that I feel will go with my background and that I'd like to use. So I'm gonna cut up a bunch of transfers just as I go along. I'm gonna kind of roughly place them on the paper so I know what sizes I'm looking for, whether I want a big one, whether I need a flower, a leaf, um, a branch, or berries that I want to add in there. Next, I'm going to use this stamp called Scripted. I'm just going to ink up parts of it, or rather the corners. I wanted to add that to my background panel here before I start to add the transfers. Next, to add the rub-on transfers, you'll need something like a bone folder to press down so that they stick properly to the panel. I'm just arranging them here on the top right hand corner. The transfers are very easy to peel off the sheet, and once you're happy you can place it down and then rub your bone folder all over it. Um, do apply a fair bit amount of pressure, especially if the cardstock is textured, and in this case the aqua pigment paper is a little bit textured, so you'll have to press down in order for the transfer to stick properly. And when you're peeling off, if it feels like it did not stick, you can always put your sheet back on that clear plastic and press down. Here I'm pressing it one more time after removing that clear film, just to make sure everything is nice and down properly. Once I'm done adding all the rub-on transfers, I'm going to take the sentiment again from the Holiday Hugs stamp set with those gnomes, and I'm just simply going to use the detailed Raven Black ink to ink up my sentiment, and I'm going to just stamp that right onto the card panel. For the last and final step, I want to add a little bit of the glitter glaze that just adds that little festive feeling. I love this one. It's almost like a holographic rainbow, I want to say, with silver or almost like transparent shine. I love this one. I'm going to add this to the centers of the flowers, a little bit on the leaves around, and that greenery, just to give that festive feeling. And here's the look at the finished panel. Let's put it on to our card bases, and here we go. Here's the first card that we made with the gnomes and with that stencil, and here is the second one that we did with the rub-on transfers. It looks really pretty. Two different techniques here today that we experimented with. Let me know in the comments below which one was your favorite. Until next time, happy crafting!